honored to welcome Father Arturo Sosa, General Superior of the Society of Jesus, and also Chancellor of this Ecclesiastical Faculty of Theology, to join with us this afternoon. I will briefly introduce our visiting dignitaries in Chinese and then come back to you. 我们今天下午很荣幸欢迎耶稣会总会长暨本神学院的董事长，就有几位贵宾陪同他，我现在简单的介绍。首先我们耶稣会的总参赞负责亚太地区来自菲律宾省的 Father Jose Magagia。接着我们有总参赞负责南亚的地区来自印度的Father Bruno de Cunha。另外总会通讯室的加拿大籍的 Father Pierre Bellarmine 在后面。当然，我们都高兴欢迎我们的副董事长暨耶稣会中华圣神会长周守仁神父。我们跟他一同为香港代祷。情况接着我们也高兴欢迎耶稣会中华圣神父莫朗神父。我们特别高兴欢迎他，因为在新学年中他会在这里教授教会历史。同时也看到我们的校友尤其是刘长贵主教，欢迎你来。Bishop Liu is Emeritus Bishop for Hsinchu. Hsinchu was the district in Taiwan that you visited yesterday morning. And now for our guest, let me briefly introduce his background. 总会长1948年出生于南美委内瑞拉。他念耶稣会班的中学，因为受到耶稣会修士们的影响，所以1966年加入修会做初学。1966年教会的情况就是反而之后有很多的变化，看到社会的未来。神父念政治学博士。因为他渴望帮助他的国家的情况，我明白在不同的地方面，政治学可能有不同的意涵，但是在南美洲，它是一个很好的方式来改善社会。1977年，升神父，然后负责修会的社福工作，包括一个研究中心，当教授。他1996年到2004年当省会长，然后被派到大学教书，也是院长。2008年被选为总参议，从南美，然后2014年被调到罗马，继续当总参赞，然后负责耶稣会的罗马知识总会的一些会院，包括欧姆列大学圣经学院。他是2016年10月14号被选为耶稣会的总会长。他会西班牙文、意大利文、英文。他也听懂法文，但是到现在没有机会学中文。So we're very happy to welcome our Father General. We know that you speak Spanish, Italian, English, and understand French. Unfortunately, you haven't had a chance to learn Chinese. So I will be translating for you. I've been here at this faculty of theology is the only ecclesiastical faculty of theology authorized by the Congregation for Catholic Education, offering the baccalaureate, licentiate, and doctoral cycles in Mandarin Chinese. So we have a specific mission for the Taiwan local church. Also, about half of our full-time students are from mainland China, and others are Taiwan local missionaries here in Taiwan, as well as students coming from the Chinese-speaking churches in Hong Kong, Macau, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, even some from California. So this is our specific mission, and we're very pleased to have you with us this afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
下午好。
Friends at the full-range Faculty of Theology of St. Bellarmine. I'm happy to make this visit, and especially grateful because we can in the holidays to this moment and at this hour of the day.
我很高兴访问辅仁圣博敏神学院，也高兴你们谢谢你们今天下午来，明白现在就是假期中国天气也很热。
On behalf of the Society of Jesus, I thank you most especially for the partnerships in mission that we share, especially in the light of three important frontiers to which the Lord called you in a special way.
代表全区的耶稣会非常感谢你们与协会的合作，尤其是在3方面而讲。
These three frontiers are the frontier of preparing men and women for a variety of responsibilities within the church.
第一个边界就是准备在教会内服务的弟兄姊妹。
The frontier of the importance of your mission to the Chinese peoples.
你们的使命有它的重要性，给中华子民传扬福音。
And the frontier of what has been called in the Society of Jesus the intellectual apostolate.
另一个边界就是修会所谓的知识使徒工作。
Allow me to say something brief about each of these.
我想在3方面都讲一些话。
First, the preparation of women and men who will assume important responsibilities within the church.
首先准备未来在教会内担任重要的责任的弟兄姐妹们。
You are engaged in this very important service to the church, particularly through the instruction that you give and the reflection that you facilitate.
你们宗学这非常重要的工作，尤其是透过你们的教学。
At the end of their formation in sacred theology and in religious sciences, your students, seminarians, religious men and women, and most especially the laity, they become agents of continuing growth in the church.
在本院读完神学或教育学后，你们的毕业生，包括神父、修士、修女们，尤其是教友们，会在教会内担任重要的工作。
Therefore, it is critical to your mission that you be able to do solid theological reflection that is relevant to current realities while still being faithful.
因此，你们需要做有深度的神学研究，这些神学思想应该跟我们世界的实际的实况有关系。
The words of the General Congregation 34, Decree 16, said it best, and I quote.
耶稣会第34代表大会说的挺好，我用他们的话说明。
Father Pedro Arrupe named theological reflection as one of the 4 priority apostolates for the Society of Jesus.
例如耶稣会总会长杨路培神父以神学反省为修会的4个涌现其中之一。
Among the urgent contemporary issues needing theological reflection, he lists humanism, freedom, mass culture, economic development, and violence.
他们留意到在当代社会有一些议题很需要社会反省，如下人文主义、自由主义、大众文化、经济发展和经济利的事项。
Theological reflection, social analysis, and discernment are phrases of a process which Pope John XXIII Vatican II called reading the signs of the times.
神学反省、社会分析、分辨，都像教宗若望23世及梵蒂冈第2届大会议都所说的解读时代的征兆。
The effort to discern the presence and activity of God in the events of contemporary history in order to decide what to do as servant of the world.
教会试图分辨，在事情上的有天主的人在活动，要分辨天主在现代社会上所做的。
This will bring the perennial announcers of a Catholic theology to bear upon the lived experience, individual and communal, of the members of the faith community, that is the Church, especially their experience of poverty and oppression.
这样我们参考天主教生活思想的来源，把这些丰富的来源在我们实际的生活上引用，让我们以个人团体性的方式活出我们的信仰，尤其是注意到在世界上的贫穷受压迫的经验，他们需要天主教神学反省，让我们进一步的了解这些。
It relates Catholic theology to the secular disciplines, especially philosophy, and the social and natural sciences, in order to discern, illuminate, and interpret the opportunities and problems of the contemporary life.
这样教会需要把神学思想跟学术的领域，包括哲学、社会学、社科学、自然科学，都连在一起，关照这些学术性的领域，为能分辨、了解我们现代社会生活的机会及问题。
Theological research and reflection in service of the gospel can thus help to respond to the broadest question of the human mind and the deepest yearnings of the human heart.
社会研究及反省，能够服务福音，帮助福音回应我们世界、我们的人生的欲望，也回应人生的最深的渴求。
Until here, General Congregation 34, I want to add that Pope Francis has several times repeated that one of the main challenges for the Church today is theological reflection, and we are lack of theological reflection in our Church.
我这样强调，耶稣会第34大会议的反省，其实不只是我，最近几年以来，教宗方济各也不断的强调，社会神学研究反省的重要性，我们教会、我们社会在这方面有很大的急需。
Second,
第二，
the importance of the mission to the Chinese peoples.
第二就是论到给中华子民传教的重要性。
It is important to underline that this is the only ecclesiastical faculty of theology who use Mandarin Chinese as the language of instruction.
应该记得这是唯一的，就是中国教育部的神学院采用中文为教学语言。
I have told that a good number of your students come from mainland China, and the many others come from the other Chinese-speaking local churches here in Taiwan and in many other countries.
据我所了解，官员的学生们有很多来自中国大陆，其他的来自其他的华文教会的团体，来自台湾跟其他的国家。
I mention mainland China in a special way because this was one of the apostolic preferences identified by Father General of Bellarmine in 2003.
我提到中国大陆，要特别注意，因为前任耶稣会总会长高圣父在2003年，以中国大陆教会为修会的不是学徒性的有限之一。
In my letter of promulgation of the new Universal Apostolic Preferences for the Society of Jesus last February, I explicitly mentioned that with regard to the previous preferences which have guided us for more than 50 years, several processes have been initiated which must be continued.
我今年2月公布修会的新的不是新的学徒有限。当时我也明确的说明，有一些以往的有限，还需要15年后要继续努力，这些应该继续。
In other words, the call to assist in the apostolate for China continues to be an important concern for the Church and for the whole Society of Jesus.
换言之，我们承认，协助中国大陆教会，还是全耶稣会很大的关心的议题。
The recent accord between the Vatican and China government shows the importance that Pope Francis, as well as Pope Benedict before him, give to the mission there.
最近教廷与中国大陆政府有协定，就让我们看到教宗方济各跟教宗本笃都特别关心中国教会，这个是一个非常重要的使命。
Much work is needed, especially in the area of forming new local leaders and evangelizers for the mainland in theological reflection, spiritual accompaniment, and pastoral skills development.
这方面有很多工作需要做，尤其是培养地方教会的领导者、传道人，尤其是在神学反省、领袖陪伴以及鼓励技巧发展。
So whatever effort this faculty can give, we constitute a very, very important contribution.
关于神学院能够在这方面所出手就会当做一个非常重要的贡献。
Third,
第三，
the call to engage in what has been called the intellectual apostolate.
第三就是我们的就是学徒工作。
I reiterate something Father Peter Hans Kaltenbach said in 2001, which is still very much true today.
我跟前任总会长高圣父在2001年所说的再一次强调。
He said, the society of Jesus still considers the intellectual apostolate along the lines of his mission to be of the highest importance.
耶稣会不断的认为这是使徒工作就是使命的非常重要的一部分。
In a world at once globalized and diversified, one cannot expect the society to give universal norms valid for all contexts.
在我们的多元全球化的世界，没办法期盼耶稣会做出适合各个情况的准词。
The good of souls, the fundamental criterion, will always be the greater divine service and the good of souls, and the wise Ignatian principle of adapting to places, times, and persons.
最基本的准则，总是给天主更大的服务，服务灵魂，同时伊纳爵是个很有智慧的原则，就是要适应不同的地方、时代、人们。
Father Kallenbach also notes that not all Jesuits are called to the intellectual life, and not all instructors in a faculty like this are either.
高神父也留意到，不是所有的耶稣会士都被召唤参与这种的知识的生活，也不一定是所有的老师们都是这样。
But each one is called to competent and serious work in whatever field he is involved.
不管如此，每一位都被召唤，具备了适当的能力，要认真做你该做的一个工作。
In this sense, the intellectual apostolate is not just an apostolic sector, but a characteristic of the carisms of the Society of Jesus, and a dimension of our way of proceeding that should be present in every Jesuit apostolate.
因而，这是使徒工作，不是另一个领域，而是整个的耶稣会精神的一个特质，也是我们行事方式的某一个幅度，所以应该在各个耶稣会使徒工作上都有这个知识反省研究的幅度。
This is why the dimension of intellectual apostolate, of intellectual depth, is basic to the implementation of universal apostolic preferences promulgated last February.
因此，知识学术性的深度，是一个非常基本的幅度，未能执行新的不实行使徒有限。
It is not mentioned as one of the new preferences, but it is expected to be an integral part each and very universal apostolic preference.
这些新的不实行的使徒有限，没有以知识工作作为另一个有限，不过还是以为应该有这种的基础，也是每一个有限的一部分。
Without intellectual depth, one cannot really be responsive to the call of the times.
除非有这种的学术性的深度，我们根本无法回应时代的征兆。
The goal of the intellectual work is to seek wisdom.
就是工作的目标就是寻求智慧。
It is not enough to develop knowledge and transmit it as an element of overall human education.
知识涵养知识不够，我们还需要看全人教育。
The real challenge is that it should be an apostolate, that is, a way to more effectively announce the good news of the gospel, to learn to grasp the presence of God in the Word and the action of His Spirit in the history, in order to join it and contribute to human liberation.
真正的挑战，就是在这个学科工作上，寻找更有效的方式来宣扬福音。同时需要学习如何在世界上找到天主的临在，他的行动，他生生在医学上所作所为，这样我们能够跟天主合作，跟他一同为人生的释放而努力。
Wisdom exists through its embodiment in wise people who make it present among us.
知识的存在，就在于有智慧的人，在他们身上，我们就看到智慧，就于我们中间。
Wisdom is not an accumulation of knowledge that is housed in a person's brain or in books or virtual libraries or mega servers.
智慧并不是收集存留知识就放在一个人的脑海，或放在书中，或放在图书馆里或电脑。
Wisdom is an attribute that is recognized in those people whose degree of human, affective, and intellectual maturity means the meetings allow us to see beyond the ordinary in our surrounding and within ourselves. Being a wise person is then a question of love, seeking that the wisdom that wants to be found in history and in creation.
智慧的这一特质，我们能够看到在人身上，看到他们的人性，知识性的成熟，看到在这样，我们能够看到，不只是一般的现象，而是看到这些人活出智慧。
Once again, I am truly grateful for the work that you do, and I hope that, and I pray that you move forward in this mission with new energy, creativity, and fidelity, guided by the Holy Spirit in preparing for the future of the Church. Thank you for your attention.
你们的工作非常感恩，我祈愿天主护佑你们未来的使命，赐给你们新的活力、想力以及忠信，有生生指引我们，让你们准备教会的未来，谢谢你们的聆听。General has very generously agreed to share with us regarding the mission of the Faculty of Theology, and is willing to respond to questions, feedback from the audience. 总会长，我们感谢总会长给我们分享一个神学院的使命，他现在开放，有没有人有提问？Chinese culture regulation. John Coopers of the Society of the Divine Word is a professor of theology in this faculty of theology, and also he works at the University Hospital in Georgia.
Thank you very much for your introduction of the mission of the SJ. Now I was wondering, your work, the SJ is working here in a regional seminary, and it's meant for all of China, all of Taiwan, and so on. And you think, of course, the intellectual apostolate, I very much agree with that. We should do even more on that. But looking at the people that study here, most people, 90% here, wants to do pastoral work. Are we preparing enough for concrete pastoral work? I wonder a little bit, because in the States you have the degree of divinity or something like that, where you stress especially how to work in a parish. And in working in a parish you can also get wisdom. It's not only intellectual things. The real thing is a good human person, able to relate to other people, having love and things like that. That is the goal, I find, not only intellectual. So I wonder, you have established this faculty here in a regional seminary. Do you think you have to also adapt a little bit to the local situation, or say, no, it's our Jesuit thing, and that we bring that? I'm not against that, but you need funds for the higher education. I'm very much in the favor of that. But looking at the many people that study here, who only want to be working in a parish, and I wonder sometimes whether we do enough for that. I mean, that's also working for the church, working for the people, and also developing wisdom. So in this I sometimes doubt a little bit of to stress so much stress on intellectual things. Some people, they can't do that. They should do it by all means. But many people are not intellectual. You are very human persons, very mature people. You can do a lot of good. Do pay enough attention to these aspects, because especially here, 90% of the people, of course, even more than 90% is not Jesuit, and 90% of the people come here for pastoral work. So I wonder if you calculate that also in your work here.
柯神父留意到总会长在句子中特别注重学术知识方面的目标，不过在本院90%以上的学生们都准备未来从事牧灵工作，需不需要再考虑？
Thank you for your comment. I agree that not everybody lives for intellectual life, but I want to underline the distinction between intellectual life and intellectual formation.
我同意，牧灵工作其实是非常重要，但是我在这方面是想注意，学术工作跟学术培育。
And in my personal experience, I have found intellectual depth in persons, Jesuit and non-Jesuits, that are engaged in the pastoral work, so not only in the faculties.
在我的经验中，看到很多人，无论是耶稣会或非耶稣会的，他们有学术性的程度，但是还是从事牧灵工作。
I think for all the church, but especially here, where we are in mainland China, Taiwan and Hong Kong and Macau, to have a good intellectual formation, to be able to analyze the context where you are, to be aware of the difference in the process of our Christian communities, is the best skill, aside with a good spiritual life, is the best skill to really have a good pastoral work.
我认为在全世界，尤其是在台湾、中国大陆、澳门、香港，我们都需要学术性的程度，我们才能分析社会的情况，这样我们才能 做出很好的牧灵工作。
So more well prepared our pastors, they will be a better a pastoral approach to Christian life. Also, I think for the whole church, the big challenge for being the model of church that the Second Vatican Council wants, we need to make a very big effort to form the lay people.
牧者都需要很好的确训培育，又需要很好的人格培育，又需要很好的领袖培育，他们才能按照梵蒂冈第二届大公会议的精神，准备尤其是准备教友们从事教会的牧灵工作。
On the other side, on the other hand, also it's important to prepare the future of this faculty, who are going to be the researchers and teachers in the faculty 20 years ahead.
在另外一方面，我们也需要注意准备本神学院的未来。20年后会有些在这里从事研究、教学工作。
In synthesis, we need good intellectual formation for everyone, and we need some that have a real intellectual life.
总而言之，所有的人都需要很好的知识的培育，在他们中有其中一些也需要从事这种的工作。顾范仲神父 Father Luis Gutierrez is originally from Austria. He is been working at our Faculty of Theology in dogmatic theology for decades, especially editing the theological dictionary of the Sosa for the Chinese Church.
Father General, I have a dream. I proposed it to Father Rupert. The society around the world issues very important magazines in French, in English, in German, in Spanish. Would it be possible, in order to more deeply influence the public world opinion in the secular world today, using all discernment, to more deeply unite these magazines in different countries around the world, to publish some essential, along the line of intellectual apostolate, of course, and theological reflection and so on. Articles published in different languages, but the same content, to influence more deeply the thinking in the church and in secular society. Would it be possible to more deeply integrate these different magazines in the world? I'm dreaming.
我有一个梦想，耶稣会德文、法文、西班牙文、英文也是会都办杂志，这些杂志一天的学会。我希望这些杂志能够进一步的合作，所以他们的好的文章资料可翻成不同的语言，影响了整个的世界。
I have a similar dream.
我有一个相同的梦想。
And I think some steps have been done. As far I know, in Europe, every year now, since some years, the director of all the Jesuit magazines, they gather together every year, and they are trying to go furthering the cooperation about in that sense.
欧洲耶稣会察觉领地们已经每年开会，然后已经开始合作。
And General Congregation 36 tell the whole society that there were three dimensions, three characteristics that we cannot forget for every apostolate.
耶稣会第36届大会也提醒了整个协会各个学习工作都应该准备3个特质。
Discernment, collaboration, and network.
分辨合作建立网络。
And I think those three applying to what we are talking about should lead us for a better use of our intellectual production.
我认为这些3个特质这在媒体工作方面上会有好的结果。另外世界上的耶稣会杂志也是连同访问教宗新访的教宗被选上他们一同访问他，同时发表那个访谈。I also reminded that after Francis was selected as Pope, the Jesuit magazines did a joint interview and joint publication of the results of that as an example of the fruits of that treatment.
One of the steps done is that every Jesuit magazine or review can reproduce any article of any other Jesuit review without asking permission or something similar.
耶稣会所办理的杂志已经有共同的了解，每一个都可借用他们其他耶稣会办的杂志的文章，也不需要特别请求许可。Sister Maria Teresa of the Daughters of Jesus has been teaching here in dogmatic theology for some time.
Buenas tardes, Maria Teresa. We know that the word is a change, the word fast, and somehow even the church is difficult to catch up with the pace of the word. And I think the Theology is also receiving great impact from the society, the changing of societies. Would you please share with us from your experience that the Theology, for example, in Europe or in the United States or in Latin America, some of the innovations, some of the changes they are being trying to do in order to cope with the changing of the society.
世界改变得很快，请求总会长分享一下其他地方神学院所采用的适应社会变化的方式。
There is always a tension between the requisites that the church, the congregation for Catholic education, in concrete the congregation for the clergy, ask to the faculties, and the flexibility to make programs that can be more adapted to a specific context.
中学有一种的张力，在一方面，教育部、升学部对于神学院学院有所要求，同时学校需要一些空间，为了适应各地各代的情况。
But the tensions means that we have to fulfill the requisites of the church, but also we have to do what you are saying. We We have to face the changes and the speed of the changes.
承认有这种的张力，就是承认我们又需要满足家庭的要求，我们又需要按照核心教育所说的，要面对现实，需要调整我们的工作，为了回应当代的情况。
Because not only the world is changing, our students are very different.
不只是我们的世界不断的改变，而且我们的学生们也是不一样。
Yes, a teacher, a professor, a researcher can be there for 40 years, but the students are coming from new generation, from new sensitivities, from new anthropological way of understanding life, also religious life.
一个教授很可能40年在岗位上教书做研究，但是学生们不断的来走，他们带来的不同的经验，不同的未来。
So I think one experience that is done in some faculties, and I think is a very important thing to do, is to dialogue, have a real dialogue with students. Our students are not tabula rasa, are not empty minds or hearts. They come with a very important experience for our theology.
因此，在神学里头，教授与学生们应该教导，学生们不是一个空白的系统，其实他们带来很重要的经验，会帮助我们神学反省神学工作。
I can mention 3 experiences that I know from the Society of Jesus. One is in Brazil, the faculty of Bellarmine, that really tries to make a good combination between a good formation of contents, but also hearing a researcher, as a student, as a researcher, linked to pastoral experience. The 3 dimensions are always together. The theological reflection cannot be out of the pastoral experience reflected and what they have from their own experience.
我想分享3个例子。首先，在巴西那个神学院，不但准备很好很扎实的神学课程，而且也是让学生们进行神学研究。这些神学研究也是回应社会的情况，所以他们所说的神学不是离实际的福音情况远。
A second one in India, there are also the faculties, but also we have the experience. I don't remember the name now. The regional theology. There are 3 or 4, 3 in India also, that they are smaller as an infrastructure, but also the program is more flexible to take account of the context, the experience, and the pastoral movement.
第2个例子就是印度，在印度耶稣会又有全国性的神学院，又有地区性的神学院。地区性的神学院规模比较小，所以他们比较能够适应不同的地方性的文化语言。
And the third one in the United States, but it's not in theology now, but in philosophy. What we call their first studies, what they do after the novitiate. And also, the dimensions are the same, that they can account of the experience of the student, the context where they are living, and the intellectual or theoretical contents.
第3很值得提到，美国耶稣会培育，不是在神学方面，而是在 哲学方面不只是哲学，而是修士们把出院后念哲学、文学、社会科学的那个期间，现在耶稣会在这方面呢提供了不同的课程，所以可以选择比较适当的课程，然后有些弹性，所以他们也可以按照他们的情况特别专注某一方面。
In all three, a very important dimension is where they live and how they live.
这三个例子当中都需要注意那些耶稣会学生住在哪里，怎么住宿。
So where houses that are more closer to the normal life of people, especially for poor people, and not always in a extremely marginalized zone, but in zones of the city where they can every day have the experience of the life, the normal life of low-class people.
在这三个例子当中，修士们的会院团体离老百姓的一般情况不是很远。虽然他们不是住于最边缘的地方，但是他们能够体会平民的生活情况。
And how means that they also take the responsibility of the task in the house, to cook, to clean, to go to the market, to administrate the budget, and to share what they have to do.
团体生活方式也是很重要，在这些小会员团体当中，读书修士们也是分担管家、买菜、煮饭、清洁等工作。最后一个问题，Claire Fu is on our moral theology faculty.
I just mentioned about the formation and the services of the laity, the layperson. So could you say more about the formation and the services for the layperson for the Jesuits or in the Jesuit institutions or organizations?
会总会长进一步的分享关于耶稣会如何培养教友。
Well, about the necessity, I think we agree, no? That it's very important that lay people has the opportunity to receive formation beyond the catechesis.
关于教友培育的重要性，我想我们已经同意。教友们有权领受超过一般教育的信仰培育。
So far I know, the Jesuit institutions, they are different levels. In the faculties, I think now, I don't remember, maybe I don't remember any faculty or center of studies that is closed to lay. All our faculties now are open to lay people, lay men and women, in many cases also for non-Catholics.
所有的耶稣会神学院都是开放给男女教友，其实有些也是开放给非基督徒。
In other institutions, for example, universities, also we have university schools, primary and pre-secondary schools, and secondary schools. We also have different programs for formation of the lay women and men that work there. In the academic area, and also very especially in spirituality, spirituality. So for us, as you know, it's very important to give the opportunity to people to experience the spiritual exercises. So that part of the formation we want to offer to everyone who is part of our staff and institutions all over the world. There are very variety of programs and also a variety of rate of engagement. But in some institutions, they are very well programmed.
也是会学校注重教育的培育，不仅在学术方面，也注意到灵修培育的重要性。希望所有的人，不只是会士们，希望所有的人包括教育们，能够参加香草已经发挥他们的灵修生活。
Anyway, I think we have a long way to go in that direction. If we really believe that the future of the church are the lay, and we want a laity church, we have to do much more about that.
我们明白，为了建立一个教育的教会，未来的路是漫长，未来还有很多事应该做。At this stage, our time is drawing to a close. Father General has a visit later this afternoon to Furen Catholic University. So we take this opportunity to express our gratitude. 今天下午总会长还需要去辅仁大学。今天上午他拜访耶稣会安导院第一副院，他的行程相当忙。我们先准备给他送个礼物，然后会欢迎大家合影。As an expression of our gratitude for your visit to our Faculty of Theology, we have a very small gift. On the back of the stage when you came in, you saw this image which is our seal. The seal symbolizes the meaning of Furen. Furen literally means to sustain benevolence, made up of two characters, Ren, which is in Chinese is a character with two people facing one another. Only in Christ does God sustain and guide us to reach perfect benevolence. So between the two people is the cross. This reflects the purpose of this faculty of theology, which is to form laity and clergy together. We have admitted laity here since we arrived in 1968, together as messengers of salvation, which Christ brings to our world. The two figures are also constructed like the Chinese yin and yang, the solid and the open, indicating something of our local culture. So we ask that you take this as our chancellor and also to read us in your prayers.